Oh, my recording setup did it again. It didn't record my mic, and I filmed an entire video of Dragon Age Origins, which really sucks. So what I'm going to try to do is I want to see how you guys feel about it. I have the time this time to do a little bit more effort to recover things a teeny bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and voice over after the fact of this video, so it's not just a blank gameplay for 15 minutes like I usually do. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'll just kind of talk over, so I apologize. That's all really a little janky and all a little weird. So let's see how this whole voiceover thing's going to end up working out, because I am not in the proper setup at all. I have no idea how well this is going to work, but let us see. So we are going to go ahead and make our way out of this cave real quick here to try to go ahead and follow towards the one crazy cultist Jude and still try to trick him to stay on our side and stuff like that. And one of the best things about doing this now is I don't have to talk over the cinematics. Clearly, though, that very much unnerved me, and now you're going to go ahead and see a cut right up here, because I decided to trim out some of the extra fat, because there really was no purpose of me showing you all of my walking, considering the fact it's literally just me saving over and over again excessively.
I pray you, stay your wrath. I bring before you your champion, who will fall upon your enemies as a cleansing flame, paving the way for your glory. Beloved Andraste, O holy Andraste, we praise your name.
This now has become the first time officially in my entire life that I am happy to have worked with a cult leader. Sorry for talking over him a little bit. But at this point, honestly, though, I am trying to actually think that this is my best point to be able to opt out.
The disciples, Andraste herself will feast on your flesh.
And finally try to backstab him. I do realize fairly quickly, though, it didn't really work out particularly as I liked. But yeah, walking through the entrance or the exit for the first time, seeing a big old dragon actually there, and the cult leader actually stopping the dragon from attacking me, felt absolutely absurd and absolutely lovely. They actually helped me out in this situation, but combat-wise, this doesn't really fare too well for us for a little bit right here. I mean, I can do everything that I can at this point, but once I realized there's a fairly big, like, mini dragon or whatnot, which I forgot what your name was all the time. They call them, like, dragons or whatever it was. I can't quite remember. But, considering the fact I knew that I was very outmatched in the situation, I was like, let me try to go ahead and approach it with a different situation at this point for the next combat round. Well, I wouldn't even say combat round, my bad. I don't want to fight next time, because clearly this was not the best time to actually opt out. Personally, I thought this could have been the last moment, but also thinking about it for a little bit longer, I could probably grab the blood and then betray later. So let's go ahead and go back through this conversation again and see if I can do this better this time.
Go.
And it does help out a little bit, even though there's not much. But yeah, I just went ahead and saved, walked through the door and stuff like that. So we are now in a temple with a really intimidating looking dude right in front of me. So, you know, constantly gotta save, because I don't know if I'm going to talk to him and we're going to fight or whatnot, or exactly what's going to happen in the situation.
I bid you welcome, pilgrim. You have come to honor Andraste, and you shall, if you prove yourself worthy. It is not my place to decide your worthiness. The gauntlet does that. If you are found worthy, you will see the urn and be allowed to take a small pinch of the ashes for yourself. If not, the gauntlet tells the true pilgrims from the false. You will undergo 4 tests of faith, and we shall see how your soul fares. You will understand what it is when you face it. Return when you are ready, and I shall open the way.
Well,
I see
with that
you
coming
have
up now, and I accidentally started talking to him and stuff like that again, I got really concerned of what this gauntlet was, pretty much assuming that it was going to be a physical fight and such, because I really wasn't paying too much attention, so I didn't necessarily know if he was alluding to anything particular, but a fight is usually almost always what it is at this point, so I was getting a little nervous about this, and I was thinking I might be overly outmatched at this point, because I couldn't destroy the cult leader, so I was really scared that this was another situation similar to the one area that I can't remember the name of, but this situation where we absolutely were completely outmatched and we could not help out the Arl at any point in time. So I was getting very nervous that I ran into another like potentially impossible situation to get past. But at this point, I just gotta save, make sure I'm healthy, make sure I go one at a time at this point and see what's going on through here. But it ended up being a whole bunch of ghosts, which, you know, I don't particularly am a fan of the Scooby-Doo haunted house situation, but whatever it is, as long as they're not attacking me right now, feels like I'm in a much better situation than I normally would, but I can't actually get by. So that probably means I have to go ahead and interact with these ghosts, which I don't particularly want to do.
Echoes from a shadow realm, whispers of things yet to come. Thought's strange sister dwells in night, is swept away by dawning light. Of what do I speak? That is not of what I speak.
And I really was not paying attention to that either right there. So I got the one who's the riddle wrong, or whatever she gave me, because yeah, I was just kind of clicking through. I didn't realize I could actually re-ask her to ask the question again, which would make it a lot easier and stuff like that when I can actually pay attention and see what she was talking about. But it was a very interesting that it was a riddle. So after defeating this Wraith, which really wasn't nearly as difficult as I thought it was, I was like, okay, I actually might have to sit down and pay attention a little bit, because if she was a riddle, maybe all 8 of them are riddles. So let's see what she's about to say for me in a second.
The smallest lark could carry it, while a strong man might not. Of what do I speak? The smallest lark could carry it, while a strong man might not. Of what do I speak? Yes, I was Andraste's dearest friend in childhood, and always we would sing. She celebrated the beauty of life, and all who heard her would be filled with joy. They say the Maker himself was moved by Andraste's song, and then she sang no more of simple things.
At this point now, realizing that I could like let them ask the questions and everything, and considering the fact that I didn't have to fight you and you were just going to help me unlock the door at this point, I became very confident in doing the rest of these.
In this place I belong, that belongs also to me. Of what do I speak? I'd neither a guest nor a trespasser be. In this place I belong, that belongs also to me. Of what do I speak? It was my dream for the people to have a home of their own, where we would have no masters but ourselves. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and thus we followed Andraste against the Imperium. But she was betrayed, and so were we.
And after completing that guy, I kind of realized being able to read the answers at the end and just letting them get to the question, reading the answers, knowing what the answers could be, and then applying it to question was probably my best way.
Tooth. The debt of blood must be paid in full. Of what do I speak? Yes, my husband Hysarion would have chosen a quick death for Andraste. I made him swear that she would die publicly with her war leaders, that all would know the Imperium's strength. I am justice. I am vengeance. Blood can only be repaid in blood.
The bones of the world stretch towards the sky's embrace, veiled in white, like a bride greeting her groom. Of what do I speak? The bones of the world stretch towards the sky's embrace. Of what do I speak?
Yes. I carried Andraste's ashes out of Tevinter into the mountains to the east, where she could gaze ever into her Maker's sky. No more fitting a tomb than this could we find.
A poison of the soul, passion's cruel counterpart. From love she grows, till love lies slain. Of what do I speak? Yes, jealousy drove me to betrayal. I was the greatest general of the Alamari, but beside her I was nothing. Hundreds fell before her on bended knee. They loved her, as did the Maker. I loved her too. But what man can compare with a god?
At this point, I actually started listening to some of them, so I was able to kind of answer some of the riddles a little bit straightforward, like kind of first time through without having to re-ask. But the chronic saving still must commence, and we're at our semi-final.
Seen it, but all men know it. Lighter than air, sharper than any sword, comes from nothing, but will fell the strongest armies. Of what do I speak? Yes, hunger was the weapon used against the wicked men of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker kindled the sun's flame, scorching the land. Their crops failed, and their armies could not march. Then he opened the heavens and bade the waters flow, and washed away their filth. I am Kefir, disciple of Andraste and commander of her armies. I saw these things done, and knew the Makers smiled on us.
She wields the broken sword, and separates true kings from tyrants. Of what do I speak? She wields the broken sword, and separates true kings from tyrants. Of what do I speak? Yes, I could not bear the sight of Andraste's suffering, and mercy bade me end her life. I am the penitent sinner, who shows compassion as he hopes compassion will be shown to him.
With that complete though, now the door would magically open up, and now I feel a little bit better about making my way through. Hoping that this is mostly just going to be a question-based thing, because in the fact I see another person that looks like a human, it's
so
scary.
Cold here, brother. Do you feel it? The chill eats at my bones. Don't you? You seem unwilling to come close. Are you afraid of me? You think, this cannot be Tamlin. Tamlin is gone. He is only footsteps in the dust. I am Tamlin, and yet I am not. I am part of the Gauntlet, and part of you. Some things lost can never be found. Some mistakes never unmade. Do you still dwell in the past? You said nothing when the Guardian asked you. Do you even know the answer? I wish you well, my friend. We will not meet again.
I'm not gonna lie, I barely remembered him. I was like, I didn't recognize his face. When they said the name, I started to, like, you know, think I remembered him. But then I saw the save screen, and I knew this was gonna be bad. And it took me a moment to realize, but right there when you see it pause, I noticed that we're fighting a mirror replica of our own team. So I knew this was gonna be absolutely brutal to get it across. As long as if they were anywhere near as strong as us, I knew it was gonna be very bad. The only chance we really truly had in this situation was me just outplaying the computer, which was not a strong case at this point, not very likely considering the fact I'm still not very good at this game. So I knew I needed to take my time with things and really try to go ahead and throw out what we had, kind of use what we could at this point, but at the same time, I'm getting really used up like crazy right here. At this point, I'm getting triple teamed, so I knew I'm going to be probably the first one that goes down if I don't spam a whole bunch of my potions. And even if I do, if I'm the first one down, I feel like any mismatch was going to put us in a really bad spot. So once I went down, my main character, or whatnot, my playable character, me, whatever you want to say, I knew I was probably pretty much done in this situation. So I just wanted to kind of see what I could do at this point to get myself an idea of what I could potentially do for the next time around. So I was trying out Winter's Grasp and a couple other different things that I could potentially do, see if anything felt good, but I got messed up so quickly. I really felt like this was going to be an extremely tough fight. I was getting scared again, like I said, kind of multiple times at this point in this game where I thought I didn't know if I could beat it. But real quick there, I was wondering if somehow it was a different door thing. Like if I went through the wrong door, it was all of them were going to fight me. If I could go through the other door, maybe it wasn't going to be as bad. But clearly, that was very much wrong. So the instant I saw them popped up, I wanted to pause because I wanted as much time as humanly possible to figure out what my strategy could potentially be. So I elected that probably the best thing for me right now is to get rid of their mages like mine. So I believe at this point I go crazy against Morgan. I think I very slowly switched to Win right now because I thought probably since they have a healer, we want to take out their healer first. So they can't heal up, so they can't do any better and stuff like that. So if we have a healer and they don't, as long as I take out Win initially, we should probably be in a decent spot because our own Win, our real Win, will be able to actually handle business from there. So it's a little bit bum rush right up towards Win at this point with my main character or whatnot, and seeing if I can get like the stun or whatnot, and a combination of Winter's Grasp and everything else, how much damage I can do. And getting over half like that, just installing the fight, felt really crazy and felt like very much I could do this now. That's kind of the moment that I got. And then Win gets knocked down in this moment here, and at that point, I just feel like I can outlast this range. So I think we go ahead and shift the focus to Morgan. No, we shift the focus to Alistair, I believe. Because at that point, he's in the best point. Dude, who would I switch the focus to? No, I do switch some focus to Morgan. I can't remember necessarily yet. No, yeah, it looks like it's Morgan, whatever. I think it was another case of magic users. I don't want to get hit by Winter's Grasp and get frozen like too much. I don't want to get hit by the stun like I just got there and stuff like that. And plus the physical defenses are just a little bit lower. So since Alistair and Xerox are near it and stuff, I can go ahead and do a lot of physical damage real quick to Morgan. And hopefully at that point, I can, since there'd be absolutely no healing and really no support at that point, Morgan and Win from distance can also help chip down the ghost version of myself and the ghost version of Alistair, while our normal selves take a couple blows on the defensive end and just kind of hold out while Morgan can heal. So that was kind of where more of my strategy was at. Well, I mean, Win can mostly heal. Because you can already see the heal going off in a second there to help out Alistair. I think at this point, it's either myself or Alistair, but I believe it was Alistair because he was in more of a rough situation. Now, obviously, my health is very much struggling at this point, too, but at this point, I think it's battle of attrition, and because in fact we're the ones with the healer, I wasn't all too worried about it at this point. It was just taking my time, doing it slow, using my spells when I could use my spells, because it's at the end of the day, this is a fairly short fight, so it wasn't as much of a worry to just throw my spells left and right constantly at them right there, because I wasn't really worried about my mana or my lyrium or whatever the energy system is, because if I took them down quickly, it really wouldn't matter. So being able to get the Morgan lightning off and stuff like that, being able to take down the characters extremely quickly, was kind of where my brain was at that point, because that's kind of how our team's built. So if we just take them out even quicker than us, it's not built to last long in fights, and so I think I need to try to keep that strategy moving forward. I don't know if I'm going to remember that, because obviously I'm not very good at that, but it's really got to strike quick, strike fast, and pray they go down quickly. It's in fact a small-ish team as well too. If it was a situation where it's another big army, I can't use all my spells immediately, because they're not, first off, they're not as strong, so they probably don't need to take them down as much. But if I go through all my spells immediately, I'm going to be in an energy deficit the entire time, and that is not going to be very good for me. So, starting to slowly finish up some of the battle right here. I see Xerox pretty much down, ghost version of him. I just need to make sure Alistair doesn't go down, because I'd rather not have to deal with an injury again on him. And Alistair at that point is about to be going down. I think Morgan is extremely weak. Yes. Ghost version of Morgan is extremely weak. So that Fire Blast, I think, actually also hits, I believe also hits Alistair, Ghost version of Alistair. So once Morgan's up from her, stun, which obviously ended up happening right as I was trying to Fire Blast. I was like, oh, this could be a perfect situation to go ahead and hit it again. I think Alistair is just out of range. Our Alistair is just out of range to where he won't actually get burnt up now. I did, and I didn't realize I was going to be that close, but I can always run away for a second or two and make sure I cool off just a tad bit. Plus, we still, like I said, we have Wynn as a healer, but Ghost Morrigan is gone now too. So they really do have zero support. So they're just trying to fight for their lives physically, and at that point, it's pretty much there's pretty much nothing they can do, especially with a little bit of magic support on the other side of things. So Morrigan can go ahead and pick up this. I think she gets Drain Life at this point. I use just to get whatever residual stuff I can get. And I think I also either Arcane Blast or I Arcane Blast just to finish off before I become unconscious, so I don't even have to worry about it. And then finally our next door opens. So the next room is actually a puzzle room coming out. In this puzzle room, I actually went and wasted about 8 minutes in trying to figure out how to even do it. So it really is not the most interesting situation coming up. As you can see clearly too, I'm also trying to increase my character a little bit. Still mad that I can't become a bard quite yet. And I actually have a really tough decision right upcoming here. It's like, what do I want to increase? Because I want to increase my lockpicking, I want to increase my stealth. There's a lot of multiple different things I want to increase, like just my general rogue abilities. But I haven't used them at all to any sort of level of good, like really use, except for stealth, getting around the bandit camps every once in a while. So I was like, I might as well go ahead back down. And I believe I upgrade my dual weapon a little bit more, unless it's the top rogue ability, but I can't quite remember. To be perfectly honest, I did not rewatch this before I went ahead and hopped in this, unless I picked a deadly strike. I don't remember. But yeah, next room, very much a puzzle room, very much a room that I spent way too much time in trying to figure out. So I just elected to cut off pretty much all of that, and I have a little simple concept of how it's going to work next time, so we're going to go ahead and mess around with that probably in the next video. But since that is pretty much at the end of this video coming up, considering the fact, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, I think I am going to end off this video here, as we're still trying to figure out this upgrade. My god, I spend a lot of time in menus. I really do. But yeah, I got the dual weapon increase or whatnot, just because I do it way too often. So as we walk through this next room, I'm gonna end off this video here. Sorry for the weird voiceover, but I say thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed. It is greatly appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Can you